Good evening, all you lovely souls who are connecting to this live video whenever you connect to it. Recognizing that we're always in the now moment, so whenever you come across this, it's perfectly fine. I'm Gina with Soul Inspired Reflections, and always an honor to have you part of this group and channel. Again, just take what you need and leave the rest if it resonates with you. And I only ask that you just have an open heart. Be open to what you're willing to receive, and that anything that's being said, it's just going to match you exactly where you need to be in this present moment on your soul journey. And again, I'm recording this live, so I never really know what's going to come through as I connect with higher guidance, my I am presence, as well as Archangel Metatron and that guidance, and surrendering to a divine process. Recognizing, I like to look at this time of ascension. It's infinite. Our soul is infinite. Your soul is always growing and expanding, and the more and more I relate to myself as a soul in a human body, it's a real game changer for me. As I look back on the last number of years pre-pandemic and the amount of growth that I've done in my awakening process back in like 2012, where it began, into 2014, where it began accelerating for myself. And I recognize, and I just refer to this involution as a humble awakening of the heart, I like to call it, because this process is very humbling to recognize we are part of oneness, the same source, and we're all interrelated. So what's been on my mind the past few days, I've just got back from Tampa, Florida, and Fort Myers area. For those, this is my first time to Florida. Excuse me, just clearing something off. It's my first time to Florida, and so traveling to a new place is always exciting. It's unfamiliar, a lot of unknowns, not sure what to expect. A little bit of reading I did, I was like, oh, okay, alligators can be in any body of water. And as I'm talking, I'm just flipping through some cards, because some of the focus today is Starseeds and judgments. And so I'm just allowing whatever cards want to come through right now, and I'm using the Sacred Geometry Oracle deck, for those of you who'd like to know. Francene, Hart. Just getting the deck alone. One, I love Sacred Geometry. It's in everything. So I'm just going to let the cards tell us and allow Archangel Metatron's guidance and whatever being of light that wishes to join us and guide us through this present moment. I hope all of you have gotten through the last week and a couple weeks relatively unscathed. I know I've talked about emotions running in different ways and other shifts of energy. We just had all those new beginnings, and as you know, with new beginnings are also endings. So for some of you, you may have been experiencing maybe perhaps cellular trauma, I'll say, being released from your being, and being released from your being, and that can be uncomfortable when we are releasing something, whether we know what it is or not. But what I really want to invite you to do is honor that. When you recognize, oh, you're having emotions come up, tears, anger, sadness, whatever that may be, whatever the emotion you're feeling, and remember that you are not your emotion. And if you could practice observing, becoming that neutral observer of going, oh, wow, my body's releasing something on a cellular level, on a physical level. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it doesn't mean you're moving away from the pain and discomfort. It's you're having a different relationship with it and a different purpose for it. So for those of you that are recognizing that you're starseeds, this message is not solely for you. It's really for everybody, because I feel on a lot of levels we are all starseeds of some kind. And at the end of the day, we're all connected to the same source light. So what is in one is in the whole, as many along their journey will say. And so now I'm picking from the Starseed deck, and see what wants to come with these other 3 cards that came out of the Sacred Geometry deck. Okay, and we'll just ask Metatron to pick a couple cards for us from this deck. Okay, start bathing. And that's how I do it. I allow the deck just to flip out cards for me, or I'll feel intuitively like, oh, let's stop here. Everyone picks cards differently. Some decks, you know, they have their certain thing where you pick from the bottom and then the top, or you split the deck. This is how I've been comfortable doing it, and I shuffle, I connect, and then sometimes I just allow the deck to decide. And this is why I like to do live, because then there's no, I may have a sense of what I would like to say, but when I'm live, it's kind of, I use sports analogies. When I'm, you know, it's like whatever happens when the whistle blows, like all the training goes out the window, right? So if all the training I've done, it's all in my muscle memory and cellular memory. and I just got to trust that's going to, my tools are going to show up exactly when I need them to. So as I pull cards and begin talking really and connecting, I just trust that it's all just going to come out just fine, and that the words will come for me exactly how they're meant to be. So as I was saying, I got back from Florida. Beautiful, beautiful if you've never been there. Different. It was not overly humid, which was lovely. I don't really care for a lot of humidity per se, or more humidity than I'm used to, being a California native. So slightly drier climate. But what I felt there in Florida was just that I felt so much water. Okay, and it wasn't because I just had a hurricane or anything. There is so much water beneath the earth, coming up from the earth in that. And if I remember correctly, it's like 800 million gallons of water coming up a day into some natural freshwater springs. If I remember the number correctly, but it was an insane amount of fresh water on a regular basis. And I was like, wow, that was really fascinating to me, the aquifers underneath. But I felt calm and peaceful, and it was warm, and so different than when I'm at the Pacific Ocean, where it was different. It was just different. And I felt just, oh wow, I'm just going to take in the sun and take in the elements, and just kind of, I didn't really go in the water because I know the water itself, I was on the Gulf side. The water itself is, everything's getting purified and still cleaning up, and the elements are still cleaning. The elementals are still cleaning the land there. So, but I did get to enjoy a nice walk along the beach, and it was beautiful. I really, at least that experience of the Gulf was really gorgeous, and the sands and all the seashells. Now I kind of see what people have been talking about in Florida. And I had the pleasure of being in the area of somewhere some ley lines had crossed, and where a dear friend of mine took me. Yeah, so anyhow, back to this reading. So what's here for Starseeds? And so basically 3 cards came out from each deck that I've pulled from right now. And it was how to do Starseeds and Judgment has been coming up a lot. So sometimes when we, sorry, sometimes I'll pause. I need to clear my own field a little bit more. And just feel Metatron's energy come into the space. And Sandathon, assist in grounding and opening up our Earth Star chakra. I do that off camera, but we'll do it again too, to support those of you listening, to ground in and anchor your being, your body, your light body, and open up your higher informational centers. That matches you and exactly where you're at today, and that only beings of light may enter this space, and that know you're fully protected in your pillar of light and activating your violet flame within that for yourself. And yeah, so just trust that. You may see Gus, my dog, in the background. It's over my right shoulder, I guess. Hopefully he doesn't bark too much, but sometimes he might, just so you know that he might be on camera. So, judgment. Oh yeah, as we're waking up, all of us may potentially go through this process where judgments begin to really come to the surface over and over and over again. And as starseeds, I found, are waking up, sometimes there's this, I'll say phase. And to me, it's just really showing where someone's at in their evolution and as they're along their journey, where they want to be right. They want to be right about everything they say. And I don't feel it's from a place of, it's more of the fear of being wrong, right? Like we don't want to make mistakes as that perfectionism comes up, or there's this comparison from others. And then, or what other people choose on their life path to experience on a soul level, right? And what prompted this on a more in-depth conversation was a group I meet with weekly. And now, for those of you that don't realize, I'm also a shamanic practitioner and have background studies in shamanism and those practices and earth-based practices. And so with that comes different experiences and different lineage, different practices of traditions, right? And indigenous traditions too. So I really want to honor that we all are walking our own path of light. Okay, remember that last post I had, or maybe 2 posts ago, you're creating your own path of light. It's your path of light. You're making the choices now. You're the direct conduit to source. We no longer need a intermediary like we used to. Maybe we used to go see mystics, churches, right, or priests, or things like. There was a small group of people that held the wisdom to connect, right? Even the medicine man, right? They connected between spirit and the earthly plane. And that's not to say these don't exist anymore, but what's happening for us, for you, is that your inner shaman is waking up. Your inner shaman, your innate instinct, your heart is opening up. And so when that happens, a whole nother events in your body, and when I refer to body, I'm referring to also the light body, not just your physical body, your energy centers, your chakra system, your auric field, your electromagnetic field. And you may hear music behind me. Just allow yourself to receive it. It's kind of interesting music today. Anyway, it triggers a signal as your heart begins to awaken. And you're recognizing, wow, I want to live life in a different way. I want more love in my life and want more compassion in my life. Or what's my purpose? What's my purpose? Those are soul questions when you start asking, what is my purpose? Why am I here? That's a question that the soul begins to ask those questions. The soul begins to wake up, where you start to have this transition, recognizing, wait, I'm Gina in this human body, versus, and it starts to shift and goes like, wait, I'm a soul in the body that is called Gina, that I was given that name. I was agreed to have that name, right? I chose to come down and for some divine purpose in the heavens from source. And now I'm remembering, my soul's remembering, like, oh wait, I am more than just my physical body. I'm more than the imprints that had been laid over the true essence of my being, right? So I'm remembering to return to the fractal of light that's within me and let that shine bright as I connect with other fractals of light that are waking up to their divine essence and return to oneness of all that is. If some of these terms are new to you, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Just let your soul receive the information. It will know exactly what to receive. So, back to the reading. So, on the judgment, what else, Metatron, would we like to say about judgment? There's something on just to be at ease with yourself and patient. To be at ease with yourself and patience. Because we get impatient. I hear myself saying that. There's an impatience that occurs and a hurriedness to get to the end of ascending or enlightenment. And there's nothing to race to. Okay, so if you skip steps, that means you're going to skip. You can't bypass this natural process, right? So if you skip steps to your awakening, you're also going to skip learning and lessons, and so it leaves open the potential for having to relearn that lesson the next time you incarnate. For those of you that believe in reincarnation, I believe in reincarnation because I believe the soul is infinite and it never dies because it's energy and it never dies, and it has a memory, it has a consciousness all its own, right? So some of you are in a hurry, and I think some of it has to do with it feels like excitement. You're excited to be waking up and like, oh wow, what's my mission? What's this and that? And remind you that only you can discover your mission and purpose in life. I can't tell you what that is because I'm not you. I'm not your soul. I could guide you through your process of awakening till you have some more footing and foundational pieces and techniques under your belt. I can support you with that and just listen and reflect back. But as far as telling you what your purpose is in life, that's for you to discover. And so that's a big piece where you want to be reminded as a starseed or awakening soul, I'll say, is that no one has that answer for you. However, it's a beautiful and powerful question, and no one can speed up your process, right? So be mindful if you start to feel like a hamster in a wheel, like hurried, and all your energy's up. You got to breathe. And you got to ground, and you got to let that air in, that direct life force energy into your body, and breathe it in and feel it and be in your body. Keep your eyes open, right? We are learning to keep our eyes open, and so we become the walking meditation. You become the embodiment of the light in physical form in every aspect, right? And that's something that evolves over time as you get used to, of what that feels like. As you get used to some of the layers that some of you have just shed. And because that now it could be raw, you could be feeling vulnerable. You may be wanting to go back into your winter time, right? If you work with the medicine wheel, you go back into your winter time and hibernate a little bit. Go back into your cave because you're recalibrating your sensitivity, your sensory body, your light body is recalibrating. You have to get used to that, oh wow, I'm not on a soul level as confined to this physical form like I was 2 weeks ago. So some of you may be feeling that very powerful full body. So one of the first cards, let me see where we want to go. How can you help yourself with your own judgments of others and yourself? Because if you're judging others, you're judging yourself. If we're reflections of each other. And there's also that concern of not getting something right. So we start to contract. So we're learning too how to hold a sacred space for myself. How do you hold a sacred space for your journey? And for others, and just be able to listen to their wisdom that's coming through. And you don't have to agree. We're not meant to agree, but we don't need to argue either. We could go, oh, I honor you. Yeah, I hear you. And here's how I see it. It becomes a dialogue as opposed to I want to argue so you agree with my opinion. or with my channel, or it's like, no. There's plenty of things I hear people say that I'm like, there's something that I don't quite, it's not hitting me, it's not landing, and there's a reason for that, and only I know what that might be for myself, or I might not have an answer. So it's coming back to kind of let yourself off the hook, so to speak, in when you're feeling judgmental of others, and reining that back in and go, oh, well, really, where's the light in whatever I'm judging, right? Like, bring some light to yourself, to your body. Because when you do that, when you can bring some light in, you're not only healing yourself when you do that, you also raise the collective, because now you just transform that. You did the alchemy, the inner alchemy, so it's no longer in your cells the same way. You just released some level of it. And I like many, I'm constantly aware of when I'm in judgment, right? That has been the hardest thing for myself to fully let go of, and bring light to, well, wait, where is it? But it's gotten easier, so it's not as dense, it's not as heavy. So you could start, like, we have this beautiful offering card that came up, and I'm going to be referencing the book in the Sacred Geometry deck, because there's some things I'm learning with you as well. You know, I may be a little I don't know everything, but we'll do this together. So but first I'm going to just read the energy off the cards first. Hi, Gus. And an offering came first. The offering. And it has all these beautiful colors. It's really like how people depict the chakras, right? All the way up from the root. This orange is the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat. And then you get into the third eye of the violet. So it's really this progression and this offering. And when I look at this piece, I'm paying attention to the hands, because it's like they're in a mudra, right, over the heart, and then this offering of the mudra that goes down. I'll have to check which Buddha that is. There's the Dhyani Buddhas, and there's 5 of them. There might be more, but I worked with 5, and one of the hand over the heart, and then there's one where the palm is facing down into the earth, but then this one is facing out, open toward the earth, and I know that's a different representation. So I may have to I'll have to look that up for you guys, because I can't remember it off the top of my head right now. Yeah, because that represents something. Since I'm live here, I don't know this is on my Facebook channel. So anyhow, I'll probably come back to that later, the Dhyani Buddha. Oh yeah, the offering. So what might you offer? Let's see, what wants to come through on an offering, just through this card. The offering. So it's a hand out, you're giving. How might you offer yourself to be in service? That's what comes to mind. How might you be offering yourself to come into service, to be in service for the highest good of yourself? Not from a selfish way, but the highest good of yourself and for others, and the light that you are, right? What offering can you give of, right? What are you acknowledging? How does an offering look, right? It could be simply you're honoring the morning, and you're offering like gratitude to the day. It could be that simple, and just be like, thank you, Source, for another day. Thank you. Like, I work with the medicine wheel, right? So I open my day with the directions, and I close my day with the directions. Does it look a little different from day to day? Sometimes, but it's so important to be in that ritual of the cycle that you're naturally in, right? Because you're a cycle within cycle within cycle. So how are you offering and giving gratitude to being here, to being alive, to being this vibrancy this sacredness, right? What are you giving? And to be with purpose when you give your offering, not just, oh, thank you, I've just been here. Like, feel it from your heart, right? Because if you truly know that you're here to ascend and have an inner evolution, your inner growth toward the light that's within you and that we're all connected to, how are you honoring that? Because for that to happen, your heart must be open. And if you're here on any of the channels that I'm on, I imagine your heart is open, or an opening to a certain degree and level. Otherwise, you might not follow me, I would imagine. But we're going to turn just to get in, see what else this card may say for you. Offering, oh, creative development. Yeah, because we also have the flower of life images in here. Again, we're working with the sacred geometry of this deck, right? And we also, what happens, I feel, is that I remember about a year and a half ago, I did a short little Instagram video, and I was like, God, it's like we're being inverted, like pulled from the inside out, right? Of being pulled from the inside out. Sometimes that can be the feeling of when you're in intense moments of growth and change, like, what is happening? I feel like I'm being gutted here. I'm not saying that some of you are having that experience. That was just my own. But there's some truth to that, right? As we're waking up to ourselves, our essence, and getting closer, recognizing, oh, wow, there is something far bigger that I'm a part of, that you're a part of, that we are together a part of. And to be able to pull out maybe a truer reflection of what that is, that we didn't recognize before, right? Yeah, so it is. It's the geometry of the flower of life, the colors and positioning of the human chakras in illustration suggest you are in a stage of creative development. Yeah, and that totally lands. Creative development. That's also your divine feminine energy activating within you. When your heart opens up, your right side of your brain, that hemisphere of your brain begins to become more active and creative, okay? Because you got to have the harmony of the both hemispheres. And that will play out through your body, right? Think about the way the energy is described. It intersects as it rises, and then it comes to a union. This is about it also, divine union within yourself. A divine union within yourself and the divinity that you are. Okay, that's, I did not read in this book. So what is else here for, I'm just going to scan it real quick. Okay, yeah. So some of these cards have a reverse aspect. None of the cards I pulled today are reversed. So we won't go over the reverse aspect unless I feel really called to go over that. But part of that creation piece, we are, and you may be recognizing that you are multifaceted. Oftentimes people may refer to that as diamond, like you're a diamond, right? A diamond's multifaceted. You're learning how to be creative in expression of your creation in physical form, right? So you are a soul, your light, your energy in physical form. And so through that light body and the physical body, the emotional body, mental body, spiritual body, you're learning to also be creative and bring in form, in master form. Okay, there's a piece to all of us that are learning to master using energy into form and take form and create, right? And that may look in different ways, whether you're inspired to write, paint, sing, even it doesn't matter what you do for a living, you're still creating, right? So long as you're happy, you want to be able to do that through the energy of joy, through the energy of love, right? So again, no matter what you're doing in life, bring in that love and creative component, because that'll assist you in what you're manifesting in the material world. This is where your thoughts have a lot of power, your emotions have a lot of power, your mental body. You have to discover, this could be part of your offering, right? Discover what you're expressing into the material world, because that matters. So, and that also goes, because some of you may express destructive behavior. That goes into the world. That if that's your offering, do you want to offer that to the world? And I don't know. I don't. At least when it's when it's a deconstructive way, right? Like the way you do something matters. So I'll say, what's a metaphor we can use here, Metatron, right? Well, we've had recent events in the world here in the U.S., right, that are violent. It's an expression of emotion, of something deeper, right? But there's also, and you have to bring light to these things, and let's rein that back in to a smaller micro scale within yourself, okay? Where might you in your own life had destructive behavior where it wasn't channeled in the highest way possible? Right? I remember being a kid and I totally hit my brother. I hit him I hit his hand with a hammer. He was okay. I got in trouble. I was like 10. We were helping my dad. Anyway, I did not channel my frustration in the highest way possible. Right? So I was aggressive toward my brother and made a really clear boundary. Now, mind you, I'm not condoning any other things that I might have kind of mentioned here. That's more in the macro level, and we'll just leave it at that. But bringing it back to yourself, where might you be? What are you offering to the world? What are you offering to your day? What are you offering to yourself and others that's going to be in alignment with the highest good and that you're bringing into the material world? And that also includes being mindful of our thoughts and actions and emotions, because you're not those. However, some of us run by those things when they're really just sensory, not just, but they're sensory ways to navigate the human world, the earthly experience, the human experience, the earthly plane, the form, world of form, right? Because being that we're in this physical body, we're actually experiencing color in form, vibration in form. And I don't know about you, that's really kind of cool. Okay? So think about what you're offering in your day. And just keep it in your reality, in your microcosm for now. Right? And then perhaps allow it to unfold, because then you'll see other people or observe them from a neutral place as possible and go, oh wow, that's what someone's offering this to the world right now. And there's no right or wrong. There's no judgment here, okay? But it's about being purposeful in the way you live your life, in what you want to create and participate in. Because right now you, together, we're rewriting the world. Right now, we are living and breathing the Akashic record. It's a living document, etheric, energetic document that our soul is constantly contributing to with every thought, every action, every emotion it gets, right? So the more you purify, the more you go, because you're going to go through a purification process with each initiation. whatever level you're at, there's still a level of purification that goes with that, and a chemicalization within the body. So you may notice your scent change, you may notice your looks change, your weight may fluctuate, your eating habits may change. These potentially can be signs of you transitioning. Your energy's changing. You may be drawn to different foods and things like that. Yeah, okay, so that was that card. This may, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but we're already at a half hour, so I'll try to speed it up. The next one was the Tetrahedron. The Tetrahedron, Sacred Geometry book. And the Wise Friend. Some of this we've woven up to. So we have the Wise Friend and the Tetrahedron and the Offering. Okay, so we went over a lot of the Offering, and there must be a reason for that. Perhaps we needed to spend more time with that, because our chakra system is such a major part of our light body, our energy body. And oh yeah, nice. Tetrahedron, it says action, action, action. So anyhow, learning how to work with our energetic body and its frequency and vibration is really, it's a vital skill to develop. Okay, and that's for those of you that are stepping into your mastery, your self-mastery. You'll begin to perhaps recognize those subtle energies, how to use it, when to use them, because they all have different qualities and attributes, the energies that run within your light body, the chakra system. But that we'll have to do more in depth of that later, a whole nother video. And that one I'll probably take more time and maybe pre-record it. So action, Tetrahedron, action. And you'll notice there's a lot going on in sacred geometry. There's even like the Fibonacci or the pi in the background, Fibonacci sequence, the golden line, right? You'll see it. It's a subtle energy that's running through there. Okay, and let me just take a quick glance at this. Yeah, it's part of the Platonic solids. And it has equal angles, edges, and equal length in the faces or facets. I'm just going in cosmic truths. Oh, interesting. That's the first time I've heard that. Cosmic truths are held within this structure. The tetrahedron is the simplest of these Platonic solids with 4 equal triangle faces. The tetrahedron speaks to the male side of your nature. This is the place of action. This is the fire, the ambition, the understanding that it will take to bring ideas and projects to fruition. Is there a project you have been considering or decision? Yeah, so yeah, you're tapping in now to, okay, you have the feminine creative energy running through you, and now that fire or the action steps, that's the masculine energy. What do you need to do to bring your creation to fruition, to materialize it? They work hand in hand. Okay, they work together. So begin to ask yourself, what are you connected with your divine masculine energy, your masculine energy within you? Are you connected to it? Because now we're kind of bringing the wise friend a little bit too. Are you connected? Are these two connected? Right? Because we're talking about that divine union inside of these energies, right? And the masculine energy stems out of the feminine. Okay. So what offering, what creativeness do you want to create and to bring into this material world? And what do you need to do to bring that forth into physical manifestation? Physical manifestation through love, with the frequency and vibration of love, through that opening. Okay. And then we have that wise friend. Let's just look at the card before we look at the book here. And that's beautiful. It's the tree. it's more than just that, because there's a lot of sacred geometry running through the card. There's like a diamond shape in the middle, a diamond shape through the middle of that card. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. It looks like a lime green, and then you see the birds in the trees. You also see the snake winding up. At least to me, it looks like a snake winding up. And that, to me, is reminding me of that Kundalini energy, the caduceus almost going up, or the serpent, right? Like you're being activated. You're bringing in that earth, all that light coming from the earth at the bottom. Your wise friend of the tree. The trees hold information. All the information you can find in trees. So when you connect to the earthly plane, you can connect to the wisdom through the trees. Okay, so this is where so you may have heard me time and time again say how important our nature connection is for your well-being. Well, it's also important for your wisdom as you connect to higher guidance. It's very symbolic. It's as above and so below. Okay, so you're connecting to these trees, and I'm noticing there's also seedling trees underneath, right? That's us right now. This is us. We're the seedling trees. You're the starseed, which I haven't gone through those decks yet, right? You're seeds, literally seeds that are sprouting up and growing, and all this energy is coming up through you and down through you. And you can see all the facets working together. There's a whole inner network of things happening as you are waking up, as you're going through the alchemy, the inner alchemy, the chemicalization, the inner growth. Right? How might you use your creative energy? And for some of you, you may feel the sexual energy activate in your sacral. Okay, it's time to learn how to use that energy in the highest good possible. It's no longer about that. As you evolve and have an inner evolution, it's no longer about the physical desire and instant gratification that many of us receive through the act of sex. Okay, and that's whether it's with another person or with yourself, because both can be out of balance. Okay. So it's bringing that energy into balance and recognizing it's far more than the physical desire for touch and for connection with another person through the act of sex. It's about creation. What are you creating through that energy center, through that love, through that connection with other people that's from a higher perspective? Right? So when you go into these other relationships, romantic relationships, it'll be from it'll be from the heart connection versus just the lower chakra of kind of like an instant gratification, so to speak, or you're trying to fill something inside you through the instant gratification of the act of sex, because it triggers your pleasure hormones, right? But when you're coming from the heart and your higher guidance, those hormones can get activated and you'll just have joy from a totally different experience, right? So imagine if you're using that energy, it's coming up through the earth, it's coming down through your crown, through the cosmos, your friendly trees, like you have all this guidance and protection, right? From the older trees to support your growth, right? Trees work as a network together, and you know what? So do we. We work as a network together. So that's why sometimes you seek someone that's a little farther along, like, hey, can you guide me, protect me through this, while I'm building my ability to protect myself, right? So that's where someone such as myself, I like to teach people how to protect themselves. So then they're not seeking outside of themselves. I want to teach you, hopefully, guide you to build yourself up so you can remain your sovereign spiritual self. This is about your sovereignty, but you're also interconnected with all of life. Okay, because that tree is still its own tree, right? All these trees are still their own tree. but they're also helping each other grow and expand. Right? The bigger trees help the little trees grow. And it's not forced. So remember that. It's not forced. And I love it. There's like this little bench here. There's a little bench in this image. Because sometimes you need to rest. Right? Remember what I said before? We get impatient. We want to be the tallest tree. We want to think we know it all. And the truth is, none of us know it all. We only get to know what we're allowed to know when we get to know it. And it's not from the mental knowing. It's from this inner knowing. You're claircognizant. Right? But sometimes you got to just rest on the bench and allow yourself to integrate as well. Because this very much seems to me, and you're going through a healing process. There's a lot of green in this, a lime and gold. You're going through a healing and balancing, a transition, an integration. You're coming back into harmony with your essence, and that can be uncomfortable until it's not. And then it happens with more ease, right? So when you recognize you're going through these ebbs and flow of growth, these contractions and opening, contract and expand of growth, you'll allow yourself to take that seat on the bench a little bit and going, oh yeah, I'm just integrating. And then those that are around you that are kind of that are understanding of that, they'll go, oh yeah, no problem. Right? And you don't even need to explain it because they're like, yeah, no problem. Go take a rest. We got you. Right? We got you while you're taking that rest. Right? So you're always cared for. You're always protected in that. The wise friend. Right? Call in. If you're not sure, call in. Connect with your higher self, the universe, and say, I need my wise friends right now, of the highest good possible for you, if some of you are challenged with the growth that you're having right now. Call in your wise friend. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, and I'm thinking, like, how does that relate to judgment? Because we judge our travels, we judge our journey. We all do it. And now you get to not do that anymore to the best of your ability for today. And then tomorrow will be a little easier. And you get to learn to be more graceful within yourself. And then that will also show more grace to others, right? So how can you support your body now? That's where it's just like, how can you support your light body? How can you support your light body? Star bathing, literally star bathing. Some of that can be, and this is from the Starseed deck by Rebecca Campbell. It's an oracle deck. I love her I love her decks. Yeah. So this, when you star bathe, it helps re-energize your body. If we're bringing the sacred geometry into this too, you're always in that sacredness, right? You're bringing in that higher connection, that cosmos energy that you're from. We're all from source energy, and you're bringing that down, right? You're bringing that down because you're part of activations, right? The earth is being activated. It's waking up, it's ascending. It has its consciousness is like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to open up. And so when she does that, you do it too. So it's so important for you to be in this natural cycle and to support this information to come through, because this is, your body is so divine. It has such a higher purpose of use than what majority of us are used to using it for. When you recognize that you're connected to all that is source energy, you can transmit information. Remember, you're the transmitter, you're the receiver, and you're the transformer. And I believe I said that in one of my prior videos. But how did you make that a little easier for yourself? Remember to breathe and take care of your body by receiving, allowing the light to come in and recharge you. And be in that conduit of energy from above and from the planet. So you're getting your toroidal field to be in a connected circuit of energy, so you're no longer depleting yourself, because you've activated your pillar of light that's around you. You're learning how to use your violet flame energy to burn off other things, and there's other rays that you can use for that too. You're connecting with your heart, your cosmic heart of all that is, and you're just allowing yourself to be fed, because your body is light. You're allowing yourself to literally starbathe. And it is. You can go out to go for an evening walk and let the stars feed your body. Because within that, you also may get codes and activations that occur through the crown and through your body on a cellular level. You get activated in some way. You get new codes as you are releasing your old patterns, right? So many of us released a lot of old patterns over the past month leading up to last week. The new calendar, new astrological calendar, the new moon, and forgive me if I'm getting the third one. In any event, it was in my last thing. It may come back to me, but anyway, we had 3 new beginnings, which means we had 3 new endings. So some of you may have shed a lot of aspects of yourself. Get to fill that out, because fill yourself back in with the light if you haven't done that. If you were in resistance, okay, allow yourself to be fed through the stars, okay, through the energy and frequency of the stars, because it's supporting your activation. It's also coming into the earth grid, which you're a part of. Okay, so you want to have your system as pure as possible for today, where you're at today, and tomorrow will be different. So that energy that we're putting in, right? What do I want to offer this planet, this universe that I'm a part of, the universes that I'm a part of, because it's infinite. What am I offering to that grid system? What am I offering to the new record, to my new record? How am I contributing to building that new earth, that new way of living, that new life? Okay, so how are you contributing, right? And that's where it comes in, and you bring in the action steps to that. And maybe your first action step is just to be kind. That's simple. Start to be kind. Random acts of kindness. And it may feel weird at first, but then it gets easier, and you're like, yeah, I'm just going to give and receive, give and receive. And okay, and that begins to take on a different look. Okay, and recognize you're not alone. Many of you feel alone in this process. And I want to assure you, Metatron wants to assure you, Source Energy, your Father, Mother, God, assures you, you are not alone in this process. You are very much being watched after and cared for in the unseen and seen realms of yourself in this existence of all that is, as you connect to your presence, as you connect to Source. You are very much loved through this process. Yeah, it's very much so a time of connection, right? So many of you are starved for connection, right? So it's not only that connection with Source and all it is in your essence, right? You don't have to seek it out. Go inward, be in your stillness, and allow it to come to you through prayer, through the breath. And you don't have to spend a lot of time every day. It could just be moments. Maybe when you start your day, and maybe when you end it. Or maybe there's a few moments in between your day when you go for a walk. Get away from your desk. Whatever it is you're doing, just take a few minutes. It could be 5 minutes. That's it. That's enough to put into practice every day to build momentum, to connect with presence, your higher self, with source, right? Those of you that work with allies like angels, ascended masters, again, they're there to assist you. They can't do the work for you, but they can guide you. But you have your free will, okay? They're there to clear the way. To some degree, they clear the way. You're taking the lead of your life. You're taking responsibility and accountable for your life. So that also means the physical connection to source, to all that is, as well as creating community for yourself. Call in, remember what we said again, call in your wise friend. Call in your wise friend. Call in your people, your community, the seen and unseen world. And it really feels like the other human beings. Call in your community that can hold your experience so sacred that you always feel safe in their presence, no matter what you need to share. Because they know how to hold that you're a soul in a human body, that you're a soul having a human experience, that you're a soul going through an awakening process that's organic and infinite and unique to each of you, okay? And take time. This card also says isolation on it. And to me, that's meaning right now, it's not even about taking time to yourself. All of us know how to do that by now, I would think. Be mindful if you're over-isolating yourself. Okay, because sometimes we're going through such sensitivity and vulnerability, we don't want to interact with anybody. Again, call in your friend, call in your wise friend, that you can be in their space and still be connected and in community without isolating yourself too much. Because if you over-isolate yourself, it can be a disservice to you. So I really invite you, in terms of inviting you to stay connected to your human community that knows how to support you. And some of you might not have that. Some of you, like I know for me, I have the fortune of connecting with a group of ladies. Almost every Thursday, at least 2 of us connect. Most of the time it's 3, but we either are on a text string or we have a face-to-face through Zoom. And we're just committed to that. We're just committed to that, and we hold space for those that aren't able to attend, but they're still connecting, okay? So find your people and it may take you a couple times, but again, what are we saying? Be mindful of the judgments, okay? That's what started this conversation, is starseeds and judgments. Be mindful of the judgments. Right? Because it has its purpose. We judge situations and feelings, but if you're able to learn how to hold sacred space and discernment, and be okay that you're going to falter along the way a little bit, and that's okay, because that's giving you feedback as you're in this earthly plane to learn and expand, okay? You're learning. Oh, like life is canvas. Okay? You're learning. Life is a canvas. I almost didn't even see this card until I looked down. And manifestation, creativity, accountability. That is one of the more prominent things standing out right now. Is you're going to create. You're going to create. You're going to find the tools to create it and put into action, right? And you're going to manifest that creativity, right? You're going to do it with friends that know how to carry you along the way. They're not going to carry you per se, like, oh my God, do the work for me. They can't do that, because then that just siphons energy out of them and you haven't learned anything. But meaning they're going to protect you while you're going through your process. They're going to know how to hold sacred space for you and for each other, right? Because you're not alone. If I had more hands, I can hold up more of the photos. But you're not alone, and you're learning how to manifest your canvas. You're learning how to manifest into physical form the highest possible good for yourself and for the collective. Okay? It's an artistry. It's an artistry. But you have to also be accountable. So starseeds right now, many, are learning how to be accountable for themselves, because some, and I'm just going to speak in more of a general term, because there's always going to be, we're all in different levels along our journey, are still not being accountable for how they're showing up, for their offering. What are they offering the world? Because they haven't learned yet. You haven't learned it yet, and that's okay. But now you have the opportunity to go, oh wait, how am I truly showing up? What is my offering? Am I full of judgment of others and myself? Am I putting others down to uplift myself? And sometimes that can be so subtle. That can be so subtle. Am I not learning yet how to recognize that we're all part of each other? That we're all part of the oneness in creation? Because the first step is your awareness to that, and the rest will unfold in time. It'll unfold in time. And remember, if you need to take a little time out and rest on that little bench, then do it. Rest on the bench. Connect with your higher guidance. All right? Because you're not alone. You can connect with your higher guidance because you're not alone. Because of what's happening, you'll get transmissions and activations when you're ready, when your physical body and energy body is ready. So it's divine time, and remember, you're actually manifesting all the time. You're creating your canvas all the time. And the cool thing is, you can always recreate it and rewrite it at any moment. I'm Gina Libido with Soul Inspired Reflections. That's all I have for you tonight, which is, it's a lot. I have much love for all of you, and may you walk in peace and have a really fun weekend. Do something that brings you joy. Maybe try something new, and much love to you. Have a good night.